A story created by Fábio Cataflam. Title: The Song of the Unicorn and the Moon. Chapter 4. Echoes of Light and Shadow. The road leading to the city of Valderan wound between green hills and fields of golden wheat. The air smelled of freshly baked bread wafting from afar, and as they approached, Sunshine noticed colorful flags hanging from stone arches, dancing in the wind like trapped wings. "It seems we've arrived on a momentous day," Elunaria said, watching children run along the roadside with flower garlands in their hair. Sunshine kept his hood down, as always. The proximity of cities made him uneasy, so many people, so many stares. But there was something different about this atmosphere. Laughter, music, the smell of warm honey. It wasn't the usual tension of the walls. "It's the festival of the two moons," Elunaria explained, with a smile that seemed to hold memories. "They celebrate the moon we see and the moon that lives in the waters." Sunshine glanced at her sideways. "Have you been here before?" "Many times. But no one would remember me in those clothes," he said, blinking slightly. The central square was crowded. Jugglers, musicians, candied fruit vendors. Elunaria moved easily among the people, greeting and smiling, as if he belonged there. Sunshine, in contrast, felt like a stone in the middle of a river. The water flowed, but he remained motionless, watching. "Come," Elunaria said, pulling him into a circle where couples were dancing. "No, I don't," he tried to protest, but her laughter dissolved his resistance. His feet were unsteady, but Elunaria guided his steps patiently, her hand light on his. The music was fast, but there was a softness in the way she moved that made him forget, for a moment, the weight of being exposed. Sunshine felt something inside him relax, as if an old knot had loosened. For a brief moment, he let himself be carried away. He forgot the curse, forgot his caution. There was only her laughter and the warmth of her hand. As the afternoon wore on, the streets grew even more crowded. High on the wall, flags fluttered, and drums beat the rhythm for the procession that would cross the city. Elunaria persuaded him to watch from one of the public balconies. But as they watched, Sunshine felt a chill. Something was wrong. Among the crowd, he noticed quick movements, shadows that clashed with the light of the festival. Instinctively, he stood up. And then it happened. A group of armed men emerged from the side alleys, swords drawn. These were no ordinary thieves. They moved with the precision of soldiers. Their target was clear: the West Gate, where the guard had been reduced because of the festivities. "Elunaria," Sunshine murmured, her tone grave. "I saw it." She was already watching the invaders. He knew he shouldn't, but the instinct to protect overcame his fear of being seen. He pushed through the crowd, running toward the gate. His heartbeat echoed like war drums. On the way, he snatched a spear from one of the attackers and felled two with well-aimed blows. He hadn't transformed, yet, but his strength, even human, was enough to stop 3 men at once. The others recoiled in surprise. But one of them, hidden, threw a short blade toward a distracted guard. Sunshine didn't think. A familiar heat crept up her spine. The air around him seemed to vibrate. And in a flash, the human body gave way to the beast. The war unicorn appeared before the attackers like a living storm. Its horn reflected the sun, its hooves sparkled against the stone, and a deep roar, half neigh, half thunder, made the invaders falter. In a few seconds, the fight ended. The men fled, dropping their weapons and pride. But when Sunshine turned to the crowd, silence fell heavily. People stared at him with a mixture of awe and fear. Some children hid behind their mothers' skirts. An old man made the sign of protection against spirits. And then, in the midst of it all, Elunaria appeared. She walked up to him calmly and placed her hand on the side of his neck, feeling his warm breath. "They only saw the shadow, Sunshine. But I see the light." Her words were a bomb, but the heaviness in the crowd's eyes remained. He knew that from that day forward, Valderan would have a new story to tell, about the monster who protected the city. And that, for many, the word monster would always come first. As the festival continued, the laughter slowly returning, Sunshine stood in the shadows of a narrow street. Elunaria stood beside him, as if her presence were a wall against the gaze. He said nothing, but he knew in that instant that trusting her had been the most dangerous and most certain step he had ever taken. End of chapter 4.